Dude, I just watched Twin Peaks all the way through for the first time, and it's actually so good. If you haven't watched it yet, watch it. Just believe the hype.
Ice cream.
Bobby!
Oh, hey, Leo. Oh, jeez.
Top tier shit. His grandparents just left, and he is throwing an absolute fit right now. He hates it when anybody leaves the house. Sugar, do you have anything to say? Okay. Anyway, so have you ever been in a situation so bad that you had to get the opinion of complete strangers online to validate whether you're insane or not? I haven't, but I admire the bleeding hearts on Reddit that do. More power to you. Sure. If I were more courageous, but alas, I am just a spectator. What's going on with people that are actually brave enough to do this? I just want to see what's going on in other people's lives because I don't go outside. Am I the asshole for taking the coffee machine when I moved out even though it started our relationship? My ex, 26M, and I, 24F, recently broke up after almost 3 years together and 1 year of living in the same apartment. The breakup wasn't dramatic, but it also wasn't friendly. We were arguing a lot. I felt more like a roommate than a partner, so I decided to leave. Before we ever dated, I already owned a pretty expensive espresso machine. When we first started hanging out, he came over, saw it, and we ended up making coffee all night and talking until morning. That sounds so romantic. After that, coffee kind of became our whole thing. Weekend coffee dates at home, trying new beans, pretending we were baristas. We even joked that the machine was the reason that we got together. When I started packing my stuff, I took my things that I bought before I moved in, clothes, my desk, my guitar, and obviously the espresso machine since I paid for it years before meeting him. Dude, he's already so in the wrong. When he saw me packing it, he got really upset and said I was being cold because the machine was the heart of our home. He said taking it felt like I was erasing our relationship. Dude, yeah. Oh my god. Dude, this guy just started dating this girl, like seriously, for that espresso machine, and I'm not joking. An espresso machine is like $1,000, sometimes $3,000 investment. Excuse me. You cannot convince me that that guy didn't just start dating her for the espresso machine. It's probably like outrageous. Like, I've been in the market for an espresso machine for a long time, and they can range from yeah, dude, it was the coffee machine the whole time. That was like, if that's really what was centering your relationship, he was just using you. Every night before they go to bed, he runs into the kitchen and gives it a kiss. Like, presses down on the steaming wand so all the steam comes out and just good night, baby. Until next time. I told him I understood the memories, but it was still mine and also really expensive. He said since I was the one ending things, I could at least leave it as a peace offering. The dude, I can never, like, no matter how many times I read other people's experiences with other people, I cannot believe the entitlement of some people sometimes. I just think it would just look better in my possession than it would in your possession. Like, do we not realize how insane we are sounding right now? On moving day, I unplugged it, cleaned it, boxed it up, and took it with me. I didn't take anything we bought together, only stuff that was clearly mine. I even left the cheaper coffee maker we bought during a sale so we'd still have something. That's very generous of this person, by the way. Since then, his friends have been messaging me saying that I'm petty and heartless for taking something that meant a lot to both of us. Like, here's a situation that is completely insane that this person is completely expecting from their ex-partner. We're gonna get a storage unit, and the only thing that's going to be inside is the coffee machine, and both of us can come visit it whenever we want. And yeah, basically, like, you're not taking it out of my life. No. And if you do, then you're heartless and a witch, and you want me to catapult myself into the moon. The memories are still there, yes, of course, but all she's doing is taking her own belongings and keeping them in her possession, regardless of the memories attached to them. I cannot wrap my head around the entitlement. This person only got dated so that that person could use their really expensive, nice espresso machine. Maybe I don't blame him a little bit just because espresso machines are... I got this! Ridiculously priced. Here's another fun one. Am I the asshole for refusing to tell my roommate that I could hear her moan? I am 27, live in a 3-bedroom apartment that I shared with 2 roommates. One of them moved out and the other roommate, F29, took over the room. It is bigger. I've had very bad experiences with roommates, and I could sit for hours talking about the horrors of it. When our roommate moved out, we decided that we could wait with renting the new room until we find someone really good. We split the rent until then. The vents in our apartment made it so that I could hear what happened in my roommate's. I think she has her bed literally below. I've never been inside her room, and she's not a loud person, but yeah, I could hear it. At first I was embarrassed, but then I decided not to tell her because I didn't want to make her awkward, and then she would move out. She's very shy. Then I would lose literally one of the best roommates I have ever had. She's clean, quiet, and we barely even see each other because she keeps mostly to her room. She makes the best food, and she's generous enough to just leave some for me in the fridge when she knows I have exam periods. I don't want to risk it. That's really nice. Aw, this guy, also sounds like kind of a sweetheart. They both sound really sweet. When my GF was visiting, I made the stupid decision to tell her. She went berserk, calling me an for cheating, and then threatened to tell her. I'm very sure she would die of embarrassment and leave. I don't care what she does in her room. We are neighbors. I have never gone to my neighbors to tell them that I can hear them moan. For me, that's a violation. Update, so I thought a compromise would work, so I texted my GF that I would speak to my roommate and tell her about the funny thing. I realized that the vents are leading to sounds from her room, and I thought I should tell her. My girlfriend answered, or you could just tell her the truth. Why beat around the bush about it? Why her feelings matter? It's not necessarily about preserving the roommate's feelings. It's about, being a decent human being and, being real with somebody and being like, hey, I noticed that our vents are connected and I can sometimes hear what's going on in your room, just a heads up. But I didn't hear anything weird, just letting you know, so you can prepare for that. It's that easy. We don't have to be mean about it. We don't have to be like, hey, I heard you pulling the pad. Girlfriend is absolutely delusional for accusing her boyfriend of cheating for that. OP responds, because we share an apartment and I don't want it to be awkward between us, and she's been a good roommate and she's very shy. I don't want to make her uncomfortable. And then his girlfriend responds, so her feelings are worth more than mine. Got it? Which is, dude, we have to, as a society, repair whatever it is causing jealousy to run this deep. I'm sure she was just feeling insecure in that moment, but yeah, my boyfriend has empathy for other people, so he's cheating on me. Literally, if you tell that girl that her shoelace is untied, then you're fucking cheating on me. All your boyfriend is trying to do is preserve, the integrity of another person, and that's just, a courteous thing to do. Asking him to bully the out of his roommate for absolutely no reason. What the fuck is wrong with you, girlfriend? I think that the boyfriend should be polite and just let her know that he can kind of just hear into her bedroom sometimes, and it doesn't have to be weird, and they don't have to mention the masturbating at all. Actually, that's humiliating, and the fact that your girlfriend wants to humiliate your poor roommate is just girlfriend L. And it's not cheating. It's not cheating for your boyfriend to have empathy. Next. Am I the asshole for giving my coworker mild nicotine poisoning by accident? So I, 24M, work retail. As you can imagine, many of us are addicted to nicotine. I was in the break room and I was grabbing a nicotine pouch out of this little container I carry, and my coworker, Nate, 22M, asked if he could bum one. Being that he's of age and that we're buddies, I obliged. As far as I know, he uses nicotine rather regularly. The detail here that might make me an asshole is that I failed to disclose that it's an 8 mg pouch I gave him. There was no malicious intent here. The strong dose made him puke, and while everybody else laughed, I felt awful. Oh. I didn't think to disclose it, and he also didn't request that information. I would have told him if he'd asked. I apologized on the spot, and he had to go home early. I apologized again the next morning, and he hugged me and said, "You're all good, bro. I really should have asked how strong that thing was." Aw, this is like wholesome. Everybody in this situation sounds like they have healthy levels of empathy and can understand each other. And like, one of them acknowledges that one might feel bad that he poisoned the other on accident, and then they hug. And that's the best case scenario for everybody, and I love that. My coworker actually refused to rat me out for it, as bros often choose. And when he refused to tell them, they ended up just pulling cameras out of the break room. Oh!
Oh! What do you hear? What do you say?
How did it become that serious? Dude, you are doing too much. Like, why are we pulling cameras out of the break room to investigate why an employee vomited one time? I think we're going too far. I think we're going too far. My heart goes out to you, man. I'm so sorry this happened. I then got pulled into HR and was promptly written up for causing harm to the labor of the department, as we were down a body for half a shift. Oh my god, dude. And for creating an occupational hazard for my teammate. I felt this was an extreme, as I made things right with my coworker, and it was kind of a joke between us now. 100%. Where the f*** do you work, and how do I never work there? I'm sorry HR did that to you, OP. That was too heavily investigated for what the situation actually was, especially if you made amends with him afterwards. I'm not a big fan of the government. I'm not a big fan of the government. Next. Am I the asshole for canceling a date over the location? I, 28F, recently canceled a second date with someone 38M because it felt like a test on his end for how much I would tolerate him in the future. I'm wondering if I was too harsh. I'm just like mentally preparing myself because already this woman sounds like an absolutely just charming, sweet angel. I'm not gonna judge. I haven't even read anything yet. Met on a dating app, went out for a coffee, made loose plans for dinner the following week, and he specifically said dinner several times. When we were discussing said dinner over the next few days, he seemed to want to be the one to do the actual planning. I was fine with that. I find it rare to have a potential partner take initiative to planning these days, so I was actually excited. He asked if I had any dietary restrictions, and I let him know that I only have 2 major requirements. I don't eat red meat, and I do not drink, as I'm a recovering alcoholic. Everybody clap. Everybody clap for her. She's doing amazing. I love you. Congratulations. I have almost 2 years sober, and we discussed it at length during our first date and what we were both comfortable in terms of substance use. I told him directly that I don't mind if a date has a drink with dinner, but I'll never touch alcohol again. I also stressed that I'm absolutely not a picky eater, and I truly love all forms of cuisine. I'm just unable to eat red meat for both health and personal reasons. I have a history of cardiac illness and have been advised to stick to poultry and fish. The night before the date, he tells me that he's made a reservation at a spot I hadn't heard of. I looked it up and I texted him a link asking if I had the correct place because it was a cocktail lounge. Red flag, red flag, red flag. Dude, if you meet with this guy again, make sure your drinks are covered. I was already side-eyeing this a little bit because of the age gap, but I'm sure Shadi just wants a mature man who's emotionally intelligent, but you don't always find that with age. Unfortunately. I'm sorry. There were only a few options. A meat and cheese board with only 2 cheeses and 4 meats. No substitution for extra cheese instead of the meat. Allowed, per the menu. Pepperoni pizza, a burger, and a cheese pizza. I wasn't that upset, but I was a bit confused that it was a cocktail bar with only one option that I can enjoy. While I was looking at the menu, he texted again to say that he thought we could go to the lounge for dinner and then to a nearby art-themed bar for a nightcap. At that point, I was honestly pretty thoroughly confused. Neither location was truly restaurants, they were bars, and he's fully aware that I'm a recovering alcoholic. I genuinely am okay at restaurants that have alcohol options, but I was honestly a little gobsmacked at the suggestion of 2 bars. Not restaurants with alcohol options. These are, first and foremost, bars. So 2 things could be going on here. He could be talking to more than one person, and he's getting confused with somebody else that is a heavy drinker, and like, I don't know how that's possible. Maybe he has early onset dementia. But that could be option number one. Option number two is that he's trying to fully, like, either get you to relapse or just poison you. It is not an innocent mistake if you spoke at length with him about this. I decided to take the evening to think about it, but texted him the next day that I didn't think moving forward with the date was a good plan. My gut instinct, which you should always trust, by the way, my gut instinct was that if he chose a date location that violated the only two restrictions I gave, it was a test to see how much I'd put aside my wants and needs in the future. We live in a major city, and I want to stress that there's hundreds of really incredible options for food here, and I would have been fine with quite literally anything else that was mostly restaurant service focus and had a couple of non-red meat options. It was the fact that both spots that he chose were strictly bars, and the food that he did leave me with, and the food that they did have left me with one single option. He responded kind of strangely after I let him know I didn't think we were a good match as well. He said, well, we'll leave it at that. Peace sign. And nothing else. Now I'm doubting myself. My friends have said I'm not crazy for thinking the choices are strange at best and inconsiderate or unintentional at first. But I wanted to get objective opinions from folks I don't know too. I don't think that she's an asshole for getting offended at that. I would be extreme. Like, dude, if I'm a vegan and you take me to a steakhouse, we're gonna have a problem. For what it's worth, I'm also not desperate to date or have a partner. I own a successful small business, and I have a fantastic group of friends as well as several hobbies that I'm dedicated to. And I have my own home. I'm in no rush to settle down, especially for the wrong person. Well, this guy is not it. It might start a chain reaction. It might let your guard down. It might push you to do things in that relationship that you would not normally do otherwise. I'm just saying. That's my opinion. Anyway, I hope you were entertained by these Reddit stories. I'm gonna go think about my life and how lucky I am to not be in these situations. And I hope that the people that are suffering with these dilemmas right now feel confident and validated. We'll leave it at that.